Fire this sumbitch up.
Hank! Camera's yours.
There you go.
Okay. The first time I saw Angel Reese, she was giving Caitlin Clark the John Cena treatment. And rightfully so, because she earned her NCAA championship, which put her above Caitlin Clark, because that's the ultimate goal, is to win a championship. Correct? Correct. 1 year later, she played a gutty game against those same Iowa Hawkeyes. 17 points, 20 rebounds. Shane and I did that game.
Mm-hmm.
She went out with a knee injury. Said, nah, I want more of this. I want to bring my team back to the Final Four. Unfortunately, Caitlin Clark said, you gets nothing and like it, and drops a 40 burger, which resulted for LSU in a big fat So you would think, Victor, how many times have I said that?
Too many to count.
That it would motivate her to be ready for the WNBA. You would think that the fans of Angel Reese would realize she still has some work to do to get better. When you move to the next level, you start at the bottom and climb your way up. Right?
Right.
Angel Reese has started at the bottom and has stayed there. Even with her saying she's not the only reason, and we know the she who she is referring to, number 22, because number 22 has gotten all the spotlight, she's gotten all the attention, the camera shots, even when injured and everything. I understand the fatigue, trust me, but Angel Reese, from a basketball standpoint, you unapologetically suck ass. When you have to create a category to try and prop yourself up, and your fans, by the way, y'all remind me of bronzexuals. Only worse. Because Angel Reese sucks at the game of professional basketball. Period. Every time she puts up a layup, she misses. Now, there are more players in the WNBA that miss layups. I know that. I saw it last night in Atlanta. But Angel Reese, for God's sakes, you were the 7th pick in the first round of the WNBA draft last year. What the hell happened? What the hell happened to you being the villain? What the hell happened to you proving yourself in the W? Let me tell you, you haven't. Let me ask another question. This is fundamental. This is basketball fundamentals in and of itself. What the hell happened to you using a very key fact? You are a lefty. You know how dangerous you would be if you actually worked on your game and listened to Lisa Leslie for more than 3 weeks? You went to Unrivaled to shape up your game. It worked for Nafisa Collier. It worked for, I cannot recall her name. Yes, I can. Breanna Stewart. It didn't work for you. Why? Because you kept playing behind the scenes. It seems that social media and being a fashionista is your game rather than playing the sport where your bread is buttered. You suck, Angel Reese. Until you decide to get in the gym and get better, and so far I don't think you have, though a double-double last night, and I'll get to that in a minute, may take the heat off of you. But there's one word, Angel Reese, that you are missing. I've talked about it about myself. about this show and other athletes. That word is consistency. Do you know you've only beaten Caitlin Clark once since both of you became professionals? And you both are going to be tied at the hip forever and ever. Amen. You both are going to be tied at the hip. Because Caitlin Clark was first overall, you went 7th overall. You know what's so bad? Camila Cardoso, a most outstanding player, went ahead of you to Chicago. She went 3rd. You went 7th. Can part of this be blamed on the organization? Absolutely it can. When you're changing coaches and changing owners and things like that, it's going to mess with you. But you're supposed to let the organization do its job, and you're supposed to do yours. And Angel Reese, you ain't doing yours. You're not playing basketball, man. You're not living up to what was supposed to be your standard, which is being that of the villain and producing games every single time that you play that will get your attention in a positive manner. You're a me player, not a we player. We saw that at LSU. Okay? You're worried about your stuff rather than the team stuff. And every time a Caitlin Clark question comes to you, you dodge it like Wonder Woman dodging bullets. At the game of basketball, Angel Reese, you're awful. At the game of basketball, Angel Reese, you can't play. At the game of basketball, Angel Reese, to the point, you suck. You get bullied in the post by shorter players. You get bullied outside by outside players. More than Caitlin Clark, okay? You haven't put your skill set together, and you do have one. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. You do have one. You have a skill set. You haven't refined it since you've been in the pros. You even used 3 months at Unrivaled to try to make it better. Guess what? You didn't. And I'll wrap this up by saying you lose 4 out of 5 to the team and player that you can't stand. 4 out of 5. You understand that? The lone game that you won was a miracle comeback, which I loved seeing. 26 points and 25 points and 16 rebounds. You, Angel Reese, led that comeback. Where did that player go? Where did that player go? You disappeared, and every time since then, you've come up shorter than Mini-Me on a step ladder at the world's smallest Hell in a Cell. And it gets smaller and smaller and smaller every time you play a big game like this past Saturday in Chicago, where the spotlight was on you. It wasn't on Caitlin Clark because she wasn't playing. Okay? But believe me, Caitlin Clark is the reason teams are switching their games from small arenas to big ones. Not you. Because you don't have the game that captivates attention. You don't have the game that captivates people. You don't have the game that captivates fans to watch you play. You captivate fans with your fashionitis. All right? But Victor said it best a week ago. It has come down to a choice. It has come down to a time where you need to pick a lane. You haven't. And I fear you won't, because you love the attention. Haven't you realized that you're getting attention sometimes for the wrong reason? Haven't you realized that yet? I'll answer that. No, you haven't. You had the spotlight on you. Before I get too far off track, because I feel myself going on a tangent, let me stay on task here. You had the spotlight all to yourself in Chicago. 19,246 at the United Center. and you put up 4 points in 27 minutes. Oh, by the way, the Indiana Fever kicked your ass again, just like they did last year when they came to Wintrust Arena and hung 100 points on you and whipped your ass again. The first 2 games were close. Don't get me wrong. Last year, first 2 games were close. Since then, you haven't been a factor, period. And you haven't developed your game to be a factor. You haven't added any skills to your game as a 6'3" forward. Do you know how dangerous you can be if you actually had the mindset and the skills to back that up? Once again, LeBron James, hello. And as much as I want to cuss, I know my wife is listening and she's our co-producer and I got stations listening, so I'm going to play nice and I need to play nice. You had the spotlight on you. Again. You messed it up. Again. You were a non-factor against the Indiana Fever. You were a non-factor against the New York Liberty. A game you lost by 16 points, by the way. Yes, Angel Reese put up a double-double in the game against the New York Liberty last night in Brooklyn against the champs. But what was the end result of that game? Face facts, Angel Reese. At the game of professional basketball in the WNBA, in 2 words, you suck. And you'll always suck until you get it in your mind that I need to refine my game. I need to get my ass in the gym and get stronger because once again, you get bullied in the post often. Often. You have more rebounds in your career than points. What in the no, give me this button here. You have more rebounds than points. In a question,
what in the all types of blue hell
is wrong with that picture? You don't get it. You won't get it. And it is my fear that within 2 to 3 years, you're out of the league. And they're going to tell you, hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. You suck, Angel Reese. Get better before you start talking ish to other players and to your fans. Now, scram.